Imagine a woman named Abby. She is sitting in her living room with her partner Tom, telling him how much she loves him and how excited she is about sharing her life with him. Tom smiles back. Then he delivers a single piece of news. He just got back from the clinic and he is HIV positive. Look closely at the environment in that exact moment. The temperature didn't drop. The roof did not cave in. There's no predator in the doorway. From a strictly material standpoint, Abby's physical safety is exactly the same as 10 seconds ago. Yet inside Abby's mind, her emotional state shifts into deep distress. The only thing that actually changed was the introduction of a new piece of abstract knowledge. For humans, emotion reigns supreme. How we perceive reality dictates our emotional responses, an ancient biological system hardwired into our ancestors to keep them alive in a dangerous world. When your brain interprets any situation as a survival threat, it pulls a biological fire alarm, experienced as sudden anxiety or fear. For early hominids dodging predators, this automatic response was perfect, flooding the body with signals to run or fight. But today, we live in a world of abstract threats, financial strain, social rejection, or bad news from a doctor. Our brains process these modern abstractions using the exact same primitive machinery, leaving many of us in a state of chronic, ringing distress. Fortunately, the human language revolution provided us with a unique evolutionary workaround. Because we can use language to frame and understand our world, we developed a neural pathway where conscious reasoning can actually intervene and regulate our primal emotions. This raises a critical question. Are we at the mercy of this primitive alarm, or can we utilize our capacity for language to manually override it? Neurologists call this manual override top-down processing. It is the mechanism that allows your logical cortex to take the reins away from your raw emotional centers. To see how effective this is, look at a young IT worker named Kenji. Kenji was suffering from severe depression and insomnia. He couldn't eat or sleep. The source of his misery was a newly appointed manager who constantly criticized him and publicly demeaned his work. From a biological perspective, Kenji's primitive brain looked at this toxic boss and saw a direct threat to his survival. His internal alarm was ringing constantly. Kenji's therapist used a method called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, to initiate a top-down override. He asked Kenji to logically reframe the situation. The boss wasn't a powerful predator. He was an insecure man in his 50s, working in a young industry, terrified that a talented employee like Kenji was going to replace him. Once Kenji fully accepted this new logical framework, the threat vanished from his perception. His brain, no longer detecting danger, simply switches off the alarm. The next time the boss yelled, Kenji actually found himself smiling. The physical reality of the loud, angry boss remained identical, but by using CBT to actively change his perception, Kenji shut down the biological hardware causing his mental suffering. This top-down override requires intense focus, which brings us to a state where the brain essentially enters a hyper-concentrated mode, hypnosis. By slowing down activity in the cortex, similar to deep meditation, hypnosis maximizes concentration and pushes top-down processing to peak effectiveness. For decades, pop culture has sold us the idea that hypnosis is a magic trick. Movies rely on the trope of innocent victims losing their free will, becoming slaves to a hypnotist who manipulates their every move. The scientific reality is different. The top-down process runs exclusively inside the brain of the subject, not the hypnotist. If a therapist suggests an idea contrary to the subject's actual will, the subject simply refuses to concentrate on it, and the process fails. Clinical hypnosis functions as a voluntary, highly concentrated application of the brain's own built-in manual override system. But because this system governs our physical hardware, untrained interference can be dangerous. In 1975, a stage hypnotist in Israel invited a 16-year-old girl named Yafa Suisa out of the audience. For entertainment, the performer placed Yafa across 3 chairs, removed the middle one, and instructed her to harden her torso to be sat upon. The hypnotist had no way of knowing that Yafa suffered from a rare dissociative disorder. Under acute distress, her brain utilized top-down processing in a completely abnormal way. The sheer stress of the physical situation triggered a massive threat circuit in Yafa's brain. But instead of generating a typical panic attack, Her biological alarm caused complete physical paralysis. She was fully trapped inside her own body. The audience's laughter stopped when the performer realized he could no longer communicate with her. When the brain's perception of a threat is pushed to extreme, unnatural limits, the internal alarm can completely sever physical autonomy. Yafa was rushed to the hospital. For days, her condition remained unchanged. She was locked out of her own nervous system, entirely paralyzed and unable to speak. The hospital called in Dr. Maurice Kleinhaus, a psychiatrist who recognized the locked threat circuit. To fix it, he needed to initiate a clinical, rational, top-down override, bypassing her panic with calm trust. He sat by her side and explained he was a medical doctor. He gave a simple, rational instruction. If she could hear him, blink once. She blinked. By systematically replacing overwhelming panic with rational instruction, Kleinhaus reached Yafa's manual override, shut off the paralyzing alarm, and brought her back to herself. We cannot avoid the realities of life. Medical tests will come back positive. Workplaces will have toxic managers. The physical circumstances surrounding us often cannot be changed. But while we cannot always control the event, our internal response is heavily influenced by how we frame that reality. By understanding top-down processing and utilizing tools like CBT, you can systematically redirect the brain's focus. This allows you to shift the reins from raw emotion to rational thought, manually turning off the alarm and conquering mental suffering.